Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where we check to make sure everything's working. I'm your host, Patrick Marlett. There you go. Gotta get that switcher thing out of the way. This weekend, get ready. We're gonna have Friday Night Magic. Yes, I said weekend, not Friday. Saturday. We're having Friday Night Magic with PubStomp MTG. We'll be playing the precons from Wilds of Eldraine. Get excited. Speaking of competitive, I don't know how competitive we'll be able to ride these decks, but I am certain that we'll go somewhere. We'll definitely wreck face. I'll try to with hopefully Elevere. I'm fine playing either one of these Selesnyan commanders, either the face one or the additional one. They both look really good, but I'm excited to play. I've never. Okay. PubStomp MTG, we're doing it Saturday. This is how it worked out. It's part of the FNM that we're doing weekly now. And we're doing this as part of our MTG ambassadorship. If you don't know, I'm an MTG ambassador. So there you go, a little bit extra content for you. This deck, I've never played any precon. So this will be the first time I've ever played a precon. I'm excited to see how Wizards builds for the masses, because I have no idea. I've certainly looked through these decks as new cards have been announced and checked out what there was on offer. Obviously discussed them with you all and, picked up singles every now and then. Savine's Reclamation, Dockside Extortionist. That's probably the best precon in a while that I can think of. Obviously the precons that had the Deflecting Swat and the Fierce Guardianship and all that stuff, those are good too. But there's, every now and then there's like a single that sort of shapes the format or helps improve the format. I can't say that anything like maybe Loam Crafter is going to help certain decks, but otherwise I'm curious to see how this actually works as a total package. I've never played one, and maybe even give my opinion on whether you should buy it and play it. It's funny because when I got into this game, I immediately went to building my own decks, so get ready for that. I'm really curious to see how it plays. And so far as Kellan is concerned, Bloodblade, I don't know either. I don't know. Here's the thing. If people made Heliod competitive, and I am going to knock Heliod, I know that's like one part of your combo in the command zone. You're already 1 foot out the door with getting the thing to work. I would rather just mulligan to a better, like a defensive hand and a combo card, and then use Kellan to find the other half of the combo. That sounds better. Also, you're in Boros, so you just have more options, and you have Underworld Breach. So when your options fail, you just play them again. He seems good to me. I don't know how competitive this deck can be, but I mean, I'm making Oswald work, so there's that. Not to be a braggadouche, but I make that deck work, but it tutors everything to field, so it's significantly better, I would say, than just putting the thing in your hand and specifically an aura or equipment. So it is like in that subtype category that is not as backbreaking as just, say, an artifact. However, I do believe Kellan, we'll go with Kellan. I think Kellan, I was going to give you a third option. I think Kellan is going to be good. Kellan. I'm going to say it a number of ways during tonight. But I think Kellan's going to be fairly good as a commander. I like the fact that both these abilities feel like they're reasonably costed. Most of the time when you see adventures like tacked onto a card, it means that the card has an extra generic value to each of its effects. Like, I feel like they did justice to Kellan by making him a 2 generic and a red, right? That's reasonable for the body we're seeing here. And then 1 generic and a white. You're not seeing it. I'm seeing it. But you saw it in the thumbnail. We'll get to Kellan in a second. For now, just want to chat with you guys. Show before the show. Relax a little bit. Wow, exciting. My favorite precons so far have been Warhammer 40k decks. Do you normally, let me know guys, do you normally, when new precons come out, do you purchase them and play them? Like, for the fun of it, and then maybe deconstruct them and make something out of them or improve upon them? Like, normally when you buy a precon, what is your process with that product? Do you just keep it sleeved and like that is its own self-enclosed thing? That would be kind of fun to have. Like, I would love to show up with like a giant deck box of just precons and, you know, Ultra Pro 100s or whatever you want. That'd be really cool to just have those and be like, hey, let's just have some random precon Commander Knights. And that way I feel like the playing field is more or less leveled. I would imagine that they designed these decks to be as competent as one another. But I don't know. Again, first time. A first time preconner. That looks slightly better. All right. If light pause can work, right? So light pause in Oswald, you know, there is repeatability. Kellan, you need to soul partition him, right? Can you cast him from exile as the sorcery? There's got to be a few tricks to get him back to hand, but in an ideal world, we'll be able to manipulate that sorcery speed spell a couple of times, because that's what we're looking at, right? Like, that's what we're all interested in. To my understanding, you know, you could just Kellan sorcery, move him to exile as per adventure, but then instead replace that with command zone. So technically we could repeatedly do it that way. At a certain point, I'm going to want to put him on the battlefield, because I do think there is some advantage to having 2/2 with double strike, right? If we play with any of the swords, double strike, just vanilla, is going to be good for getting those to proc. Does Light Pause really work? It has effective and fast game-winning combos. Light Pause plays like a typical white stacks deck while using Light Pause to control the game and close it out. If you guys don't know Light Pause, it's a really cool version of Light Pause. But we've got... I'll show you the cool one. This was like from the Neon Dynasty set. This version looks sick as hell to me. All right. But it's aura-based tutor, more or less like Oswald, except it's triggered and not activated. We don't really have any infinite combos, but we have auras that will one-shot people. So it's almost like One Punch Man. It's like a version of Taigam. I know there is a like a One Punch Man deck in cEDH, EDH, that has sort of flown about for a while. I forget the name of that legend, but that had been a popular one for a while, so far as like the Voltron, blow someone out of the game, and then keep the people that you think are less threatening online, and then you can just deal with them later. And that's the idea of stacked, right? Slow things down, knock someone out, go for individual kills. I kind of feel like Light Pause is fringier than Fringe, although I haven't seen it play in cEDH more like twice, so I don't know. I've never played it in cEDH. I'd be interested to try it. We have a Discord. Wizard, yes, yes. Feel free to leave the link to your Light Pause Discord in the comment section below. Also, feel free to leave the link to any of your favorite Discords in the comment section below. Honestly, this is all about community here. I'm trying to make it more of a community-based channel for you all. So if there's a place you all congregate and want to talk about these things, a Kellan deck perhaps, feel free to leave the Discord for it. That's why this is here. And these deck techs are always a blueprint for you guys to build upon. So whatever we do, my say isn't the final say. I think we'll rely on a combo or two to close out games, but I don't know which are going to be the most reliable to work on here. Noting that we have tutors for artifacts in red sort of helps dictate what's going on here. We also have Sunforger to help us get to some of our tutors, so there's that. We'll see. I want to look through some of like the core equipment and aura cards to start, as well as any on damage effects. I said swords earlier, like Swords of Fire and Ice might find its way into this deck. They're costly to set up, the swords, but they're still good. I think people sleep on them because they are a difficult setup, but in lists that are not trying to be as mana efficient as others or try to do things quickly, I think it's okay. Because I think Kellan is going to run a fair bit of stacks as well. All right, I'm going to take a sip of this random beverage. 1 second. Because I don't do it enough. If you're here for the live and you enjoy the content, feel free to leave it a like. It does help push it to the next individual. And these live streams definitely need that. So I appreciate it. But I think it's probably more or less time to get into this. So let's do it. Here, I'll go back. Well, hey, I'm Patrick Marlette, your local game guy. This is Local Game Group. You are also local game guys and gals, and thank you for joining me. This programming is all about community. I said it a second ago, but yeah, all of these live stream deck techs, they're done this way for a reason. It's so that we can build upon each other's ideas and work through deck lists together. Right now, we'll be focusing on Kellan, the Fae-Blooded. So, if you have not seen Kellan, I have him on the screen now. Okay, so this guy, latest spice from Wilds of Eldraine. This is not a sponsored ad, but I did do one of those earlier. It's a good video. You should watch it. It's on what it feels like to play green in Magic Gathering. Pretty funny short. Check it out. Thanks, Wizards, for sponsoring that. But today, we're going to give you the honest truth about Kellan and whether or not it'll cEDH. We've got a poll going. There seems to be a fair amount of people participating in this poll, and 52% say it will. But what exactly is this? So, we have a human fairy, some abomination. Sick. Kellan makes me sick. For 2 generic and a red, 2/2 legendary creature, double strike. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to Kellan, the Fae-Blooded. The more interesting aspect of this human fairy side of the card is the double strike. That reads to me a few ways. Obviously, I want to trigger things off of that, so we'll look at cards that say whenever damages, blah. We'll look that up. But more importantly, there's a little storybook in the text box here. Wilds of Eldraine as a whole, known for adventures. We have an adventure on this card. So Birthright Boon for a generic and a white, sorcery, adventure, search your library for an aura or equipment card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so it's nice that it's not 2-field because, I mean, if it's an aura, you obviously would want Kellan there for it to work. Unless you had something else out earlier, like a Ragavan. Maybe we play Ragavan, because that does ensure we get at least Birthright turn 2, if not Kellan, and we just have the solution in hand for whatever we wanted. I think that Kellan and Boros is doing something that's a little bit more interesting than the rest of the Boros Legendaries, the Voltron commanders we've seen that, for the most part, just care about equipping things and then attacking and then potentially drawing based off some condition. You know, we've seen iterations on that for a while now, so getting this is really cool. I actually really prefer this. Both the sorcery aspect of the card and the creature are fairly easy to cast. It passes the Mana Crypt test. I always mention this with videos. Mana Crypt being 0 to cast 2 generic producing artifact. This is perfect. We're always guaranteed a turn 1 Kellan, though not always the thing you want to do. More importantly, this is really good with Jeweled Lotus, because Jeweled Lotus is going to give us mana requisite to pay for a part of one or the other's generic cost, as well as the colored pip of the other casting cost for the creature and or for the sorcery speed spell. So Jeweled Lotus is going to be an absolute boon here. I like the idea of, well, we'll see. I think that this can go fairly quickly. I think that what we would want to do is focus on a handful of combos that are enabled by, let me see here. Like you haven't seen it yet. I edited it, but you haven't seen it yet. So Breath of Fury is a really cool aura based combo, and it's like Legion Loyalist or not Legion Loyalist. There's a girl that makes hasty Thopters. There's a couple of cards that make hasty tokens. All that's important is with those hasty tokens, you know, at the beginning of combat, if, you know, whatever happens, make a goblin, make a flying Thopter. It has haste, or it's tapped and attacking. Whatever the case, what's cool about Breath of Fury is it's an aura. You're allowed to enchant a creature with it, obviously. And when the enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. So if you're generating tokens that fly, likely you'll have the evasion to get over anyone's potential blocker. Then if you do untap all creatures you control after this phase, there's additional combat phase. So things like Sword of Fire and Ice in this instance would not only be good for the card advantage, but also Sword of Fire and Ice just smacks things. I forget it's a shock or a bolt, but In instances where there are blockers, attack the person that doesn't have something that can block you, and then use Kellan with any form of removal or any other creature that's actively removing things with damage, whether it's, you know, damage to any permanent, any creature, any target, preferably. Use that to clear the board and make way for the Breath of Fury combo. So there's that. We have cards like, I don't know, you don't see this much. Splinter Twin. We can go for Splinter Twin combos. I need to have a think. It's a classic combo, but honestly, I haven't brewed for it in a while. I don't know how many creatures are in Boros that say, when this thing ETBs, untap this creature. The whole idea being you want to untap the creature that's tapping to produce tokens of itself. They're hasty tokens. So what would happen in an ideal world is that you just have the thing ETB. It couldn't be Felidar Guardian, because that's a flicker. Let me know your favorite Splinter Twin combos, right? They exist here. Oh, wow. Hey, that poll just ended by itself. That's nice. What I want to do, though, is cover a handful of combos that you all would think would be good in this deck, and then we'll go ahead and start from there. I like the Breath of Fury combo quite a bit. I've always liked combat combos. Boros is generally limited in that range. Obviously, you do have, I mentioned it earlier, the Heliod Ballista thing. That is something we can do. It's not necessarily something that's easy to achieve with our commander, but we can draw utilities to help us get there. This deck also, mind you, we'll be using the One Ring, so that'll help things get eased. Let me see here. So I'm not hearing any combos, meaning we have to win fair. No, we're going to win with combos. We're going to try to win with combos, but the combos are somewhat, like the space in Boros is somewhat limited so far as aura and equipment-based combos are concerned, but maybe there's some additional combat combos I'm just not thinking of, but there are aura-based combos that definitely do exist and we can play for them. You can fetch the boots so fast. Yeah, Lightning Greaves? Sword of Body and Mind gives a token, and it is it instantly beefs. Sword of Body and Mind. I've never used this sword. But yeah, so if we had you create a 2/2 green wolf token that player mills 10 cards. See, if the wolf had haste, that's what's important. We need the crate Thopter. It has haste. Crate token haste commander. It's red. It's this. Loyal Apprentice, not Legion Loyalist. So when you have Kellan down, you can use her. You don't Breath of Fury her. Breath of Fury one of her tokens, right? But at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 color slot to artifact creature token with flying. That token gains haste until the end of turn. So this is a 1/2 punch with Breath of Fury. Very easy to accomplish. Obviously the curve for this is what, 6 mana. It's not that expensive to do, particularly if you mulligan for a hand to cheat out, you know, a turn 1 Kellan or turn 1 Adventure. I'm using those interchangeably. You're going to have the mana requisite to do this, hopefully. And also we're going to be utilizing things like Sigarda's Aid. I know there was a new one that just came out, but we also want to rely on our combat tricks being attached, right? Our swords being attached automatically. Any of our auras or equipment being able to have flash would be also just really great. So we're going to rely on this. And there was also a new one that just came out from War of the Sparks. I forget. It's very similar in vein, but we'll want all of the auto-equippy things. Does that also mean Hammer of Dazan? I don't really think so. There's Bomberman as well, but Bomberman isn't really a finisher in and of itself. And Bomberman's Lion's Eye Diamond and the Auriok Salvagers. So that does make infinite mana. And we technically could utilize that to tutor up stuff from our list, right? So technically, we can't tutor any one of these two things. Auriok Salvagers, last I checked, is not a... Well, he ain't an aura. But the idea being, you're discarding your hand, that's okay. You're generating 3 mana off of Lion's Eye Diamond. He's returning it back to your hand. You repeat this process, make infinite, all colors of the rainbow. You can proceed to casting Kellan now to just search up everything from your list. So we were talking about, again, you haven't seen the video, but there's a short video that we're doing. I was gonna do, so I was gonna do a full-length video on Wilds of Eldraine, but I've noticed that they sort of lag behind relative to the shorts that we produce on this channel. So I'm converting the top 10 commanders stylistical to a short form video, just because I feel like that'll play better. But we are discussing a lot of legendaries from this set. If you're wondering, you know, why is there a lack? There is Wilds of Eldraine content. All of the stuff I shot initially was stuff that was for the MTG ambassadorship. It's under review. And now I'm sort of getting around to producing our own content. So hold, please hold. And I was also out on vacation for a week. So that put a damper on things. But Mantle of the Ancients. So this is kind of a cool thing we could potentially do. I'm trying to think if there's a good way to self-mill off of Kellan's effective tutor. Because in a world with infinite mana, finding every aura and every equipment in our deck, there's gotta be some shenanigans we can get around to. I think that there's gotta be something here. This is interesting for a self-mill strategy, because then you could just bring everything back and have like a giant ass army. And what's interesting is that Kellan actually effectively makes that giant ass army, at least on the attack side. Once you go sideways, you're really only concerned about doing enough damage with one thing to each of your opponents, and that'll be enough. I used to use a Boon Weaver setup with Mantle of Ancients to kill everything. Boon Weaver. We're not going to use Boon Weaver here, although we could do like a self-mill thing. It was self-mill reanimate, so don't, you know, this is not, we're not in black. Although we do have white with some recovery, but we're not going to cheat out Boon Weaver very easily. No, not to my knowledge. It would have been really cool if he was in Mardu. Oh my gosh, if Kellan was in Mardu, this would be a different story. This would be insane. Okay. Any living weapon for Mirrodin cards worth running gives you a body to go with equipment. That's true. Sweet. I feel like, oh, you know what's a... Here you go. Here's how we win the game with infinite mana. You could just use Mortar Pod. So if we did the Bomberman combo with Auriok Salvagers, infinite mana, all we would need to do technically is cast Kellan one more time, find Mortar Pod, cast Mortar Pod, replacement effect, put Kellan back in the CZ, cast Kellan, play Kellan, equip Kellan with this. You'll kill speaking of living weapons, you'll kill the germ with this and ping someone and proceed to do that with Kellan. You could do that, and that's not bad. I think there are other pieces of equipment that do this now too. There's like a red one that does this. That would, I guess you would say, is better. We could run one or the other. I just want like one outlet in the deck minimally, and this would do it. And it's also generic in cost, so I like that. Splinter Twins may be the wiser option because you don't have to make it through combat. Well, it depends on what you're Splinter Twinning out, right? Midnight Guard, Sparring Mummy. Are the, oh, these the, thank you, these are Splinter Twin shenanigans. Okay, so yeah, like, precisely. This is very easy to do. Midnight Guard's not expensive. Find Splinter Twin. Midnight, you know, Splinter Twin the Midnight Guard. Done. Sparring Mummy. Is Sparring Mummy cheaper or is it also 3 CMC? It is more. We might just go with the one Midnight Guard. Unless there's something better. Lucky Clover gotta go into... Lucky Clover, I forget what this one does, but we can look at it really quick. Whenever you cast an adventure instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Is this win more? All right. Feel free to answer that. Lucky Clover. Do we play it? So I definitely understand what you're saying. I like this a lot. This is no different than anything that would like duplicate or replicate a spell, but it's specific to adventures. Bearing in mind, so far as like this deck list is concerned, the deck is also in the description. So if you want to check it out, feel free to click on that. You can copy and paste this to any of your favorite editors. But I feel like there might be better copy effects that exist for this. There might be. I like this a lot, but as it stands, it's only really going to happen once. neatly, and I'm not gonna wait to do it until I have Lucky Clover out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm either gonna find a utility to help me grind, or I'm gonna find a combo card. And again, we've got just the one in mind with Splinter Twin so far. There's also Elemental Mastery. Let me see this. Creature has create X blah 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 tokens, where X is the power, exile them at the beginning of next end step. Elemental Mastery could work with our Breath of Fury combo too. But that's another aura for an aura. If there's a way to, well, there you go. That's your Lucky Clover is useful for that. Village Bellringer's gas. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's the best one. Village Bellringer and the Midnight Guard, I think. Let's go ahead and start adding some of these. I think we've sort of come to a conclusion on what we want to do here. Am I mistaken? Red has a bunch of that ETB to take control of a creature and untap it as well. Yeah, you could do like Zealous Conscript is sort of the classic, but if there are other hijack effects that are in those colors, let me know. True Wizard could toss in Kiki-Jiki for consistency too, possibly, potentially. You can grab Sunforger to cast any red and white instant speed with 4 CMC or less from the deck. Mario Lopez, yeah. We actually have, to illustrate that I'm, oh, hey. To illustrate that I'm with you on that, I have Sunforger up here as the display card. It's not in the deck yet, but it will be. Also note that our land base is at 20. We're going to add lands as soon as I know what we need more mountains or if we need more plains. We're not there yet, though. I think Sunforger's cool, and I'll put it in. I can't say that Sunforger's the thing I'm going to prioritize often, but it might be. I'm going to add Gamble. I'll add Enlightened's Tutor. When I brewed this deck, I made it similar to Slicer. Slicer is the Transformer deck. I ran Dualcaster. I love Dualcaster. Dualcaster Mage combo is great, and then you can also just do the Twin Flame. And what's the other one? It's called Heat Shimmer. All right. Zerda, Oswald, etc. There are a ton of 1 CMC auras that draw you a card as well that can be returned to hand, like Crown of Flame. Crown of Flame, you say? Return Crown of Flame to its owner's hands. That will draw you a card? That will draw you a card? Am I missing something? I don't know if it's drawing us cards, but... Well, Breath of Fury requires a creature to constantly be able to smack someone to actually combo, but Splinter Twin will do the thing and let you kill everyone at once. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You do the infinite part instantaneously as opposed to having to rely on combat steps and hopefully getting through. I get that. Lets you search up 2 auras equipment feels win more. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, Jaeger. I'm like, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, and it's nice to have a commander that actually leans towards using that kind of effect, but I feel like even in Boros, the slots are going to be tight. Like, I don't know. I joked about it just recently with a YouTube short about power creep. It's real. It exists. It might be in the room right now. It definitely happens, but the more cards that come out, the more redundancy of effects that come out, the slots in these lists become less accessible. There's less flexibility with what you can include if you want to play competitively, right? And it's important to note that, you know, we're going to be brewing this from that angle, as far as we can take it in that angle. Fun Porter. Fun Porter wins in a stacks out board, says Bloodblade. I agree. So let's add the Village Bellringer. Village Bellringer. Let me add the Midnight Guard. Please let me know if there's a better Zealous Conscripts. I like these more simply because they're cheaper than Zealous Conscripts. But let me add Splinter Twin, and let's go ahead and look now at Gain Control. Creature. And obviously in Boros. So we're going to go ahead and just look at all of the hijack creatures. The gain control might not have been enough text, I realize, going into this, but I'm keen to figuring this out as we go along. I feel like I'll be able to solve this for us. Gain control, target creature, target... okay, well, maybe Creature. I narrowed it down, not at all. Okay, Oracle, target. That narrowed it down quite a bit. Okay. Let's see here. Core Spirit Dancer like creatures will help you draw cards. SRAM, Mesa, Enchantress off cards like Crown of Flames. I see this deck happily leaning turbo, mid-range, or stacks. Which of the three do you think complements the combo best? Honestly, enter the battlefield. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it. When enter. 33. Okay, so I don't know yet. I think once we assemble all of the cards that will push forth a win. So right now, I'm thinking Auriok Salvager. Auriok Salvagers. There's also the... That doesn't work. Only in Teshar. So Auriok Salvager, Lion's Eye Diamond will work as a win if we use Mortar Pod. I'm going to put Mortar Pod in here for now. I don't know if it's the one we actually use, but Mortar Pod. We also have Dualcaster Mage, Heat Shimmer, Twin Flame. That's a combo. None of those are rightly accessible with Kellan, but they're there. We also have Splinter Twin with Midnight Guard and Village Bellringer. So those are 7 CMC to do. We can also include Dockside loops, Dockside Extortionist loops with Dualcaster Mage, right? So if we need the mana, you do... Sorry, we'll look at these hijack creatures in a second. So if you're making the necessary amount of mana, when you cast Twin Flame, you can strive Twin Flame and copy this, right? And you're able to choose any number of target creatures you control. For each of them, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it has haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. So how did this work? I did this before. You strive this for 5 total. You create a token copy of Dockside and anything else. Then you need to use Dualcaster Mage to create a copy when it ETBs of this. And I believe it gets the strive. It'll work. The copy of the token that creates your... Okay, this is such a minor combo, but that's just another thing in the list. I'll get to thinking on it in a second, but it does work. I promise. It works. Okay. David. Chained to the Rock, Ethereal Armor, Hyena Umbra, Meticulous Excavation combos with Dockside. Some of my favorite 1CMC enchantments. Okay. Let's take a look at that. I think Dockside Extortionist is a really good option for this list so far as combo cards are concerned, if we just wanted infinite mana, right? Give me 1 second. I'm just thinking of cards and putting them in. I'm not necessarily going for any one thing yet. I want to look at these cards you just mentioned in a second, but you just reminded me of something. Let me just look at the hijackers first. Okay, is this one? So equal to the number of vampires you control. That's never gonna happen. I'm trying to see if there is a hijacker that's in... that is less than 3 CMC, or the same as 3 CMC. Otherwise, I'm not interested. All right, I'm already not interested. So, what's going on here? We said that Combat Celebrant and Goblin Sharpshooter also Splinter Twin wins, says Will. Oh, are they? Combat Celebrant is quite the lad. So Combat Celebrant's cool. You can exert this, any new copy as many times as you want and get to be able to continuously do this, right? Just make sure that one of them, the one with Splinter Twin, is generating copies. That's not a bad idea. And Goblin Sharpshooter. Goblin Sharpshooter is a little odd. Like, the way this works, you need to do the thing, create a creature, whenever a creature dies, untap Goblin Sharpshooter. So you'll use Splinter Tween on Goblin Sharpshooter, tap the Goblin Sharpshooter, a new Goblin Sharpshooter comes into play. It's hasty, so that means that this other one can't be summoning sick. You use it to kill a dork. You need something to kill initially. Untap the both of them, right? And then you make a new Goblin Sharpshooter. So one pings someone, the other one kills the previous Goblin Sharpshooter, and then you untap them and have two again. I think that's the strategy. It's a little finicky. You're not always going to have a target for this, but that does technically work, right? But let me look at this change to the rocks. I know the card. Don't you need a snow? No, you need enchant mountain you control. Enters the battlefield, exile a target creature an opponent controls until chained to the rocks leaves the battlefield. Wait, so this isn't comboing with Dockside by itself, but let me see if any of these combo just as a one card thing. I don't think any of them will, but I'm curious. For one enchantment, first strike, right? Ethereal armor. I don't think I was using it. I'm trying to remember like the ones I was using in Sithis. Gets first strike, totem armor, enchanted creature, and meticulous excavation. So meticulous excavation, I don't know. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. If it has unearth, instead exile it, then return that card to its owner's hand. If it has unearth, instead exile it, then return that card to its owner's. That's kind of cool. Activate it only during your turn. So that's cool. It's an enchantment. I wish it was an aura, but that does work. That's an odd one. I don't know. A meticulous excavation might be cool. Meticulous excavation and Dockside is a clean win. Yeah, provided you're generating, right? It goes to your hand. So provided you're generating 6 mana. Remember, Dockside's 2, and then you need to generate 6 because it's 2 to play the thing, 2 to play Dockside. No, what do you need to make? You need to make. I'm sorry, it's 3 to do that. So you need to be 1 over. 2 for Dockside, 3 for this effect. And then 1 over. Is my math right? We'll figure it out. That's kind of cool. I'll put Meticulous Excavation on the sideboard for now. The only reason I don't like it is that I can't tutor it. Right? We've already got a handful of combos in here that I can't tutor for. So I would prefer if we looked at combo cards that we could tutor for. Right? Also, Forge New. Thank you. Forge New is from... Oh, you're so right. Forge New is from Lord of the Rings, I believe. So yes, Forge New, Sigarda's Aid. We want all of these things. I'll put Meticulous to the side for now. Excavation, only in the combination like SRAM, you mean? Yeah. Bloodblade, Flickering Ward, Mark Fury, any draw card, aura. If you make infinite mana, you can play them over and over. Meticulous Excavation is Dockside combo. It's similar to Timir and Boros, okay? I keep rebeccing this card, Meticulous Excavation in your deck text, but you can't remember it. Do you? Because it got sideboarded today. No, that's good. I thank you for recommending it. It's an oddity. Here I like it, but I don't like it enough because it's not an aura. I run it in Zerda, tested it in Zerda, it's great. Okay. Is it better to go super wide and slightly tall? Or only slightly wide and hugely tall? Such a good question. I don't know the answer, but we'll find it. Your math is right. Dockside needs to make 6 treasures. Okay, thank you. Sunforger's in, Victoria, and David says, been a personal favorite of mine with Meticulous. Okay, so we've got all the goodies out of the way. I've added Enlightened Tutor, Gamble. I'm going to add Underworld Breach because guess what? Underworld Breach, Savine's Reclamation. I'm just going to add the combo cards that I know exist here. Grinding Station. You're like, why are you, what is going on? Okay, so Lion's Eye Diamond, Underworld Breach, Grinding Station, they do play a part in a combo for this deck. Lion's Eye Diamond, just so you know, is more important for putting cards in your graveyard from your hand than anything else. Make sure you get that silence off. But Grinding Station into either Flux Reservoir. So like that is something we can do as well. I'm just putting it in the main because it is a combo that's fairly streamlined that we can easily do. I want to look into more aura-based combos though. I would really like some self-mill strategies in here, because if we did have a self-mill strategy that went into a Savine line, that would be great. That would also be great. If there's an aura-based self-mill strategy that you're aware of, ideally two cards. I can't say 2 to 3, because then we're really out of cEDH territory. What's that equipment tutor that makes you randomly discard? I don't know what that is, but we do have Steel Shaper's Gift. We could add Steel Shaper's Gift just because it's good. We also might want to include, or at least consider, what is the goblin that entombs an artifact? He may be good for this. Honestly, just to get the Ether Flux out of the way. I know we have tutor in the command zone, but I kind of want to just look at search library cards in Boros. I'm forgetting a few, I'm sure. There might be some new ones that are good. Reckless Handling, thank you. Reckless Handling is just an artifact, I believe. So I think Reckless Handling is just an artifact. Also, there's the Armory. Open the Armory. We can also just use Open the Armory. Open the Armory is essentially, I mean, we'll see it when we see it here. Open the Armory is essentially what the adventure is. I'm just trying to give this a very quick glance to see if there's anything I have missed in recent date. I'm going to put Esper Sentinel in. I'm also going to put Archivist of Ogma. I think they're going to be good for us. Oh, there's Fighter Class too. Enters the battlefield, search your library for equipment, reveal, put it into your hand. That's cute. Activated equip abilities you activate cost 2 less to cast. Or 2 less to activate, rather. That's really not bad if we do plan to go to Swords route. I don't know if Fighter Class is good enough to mainline because, again, Kellan is our commander, but I'll put Fighter Class just for more redundancy in the sideboard, and if we elect to use it, we can use it. Goblin Engineer, there he is. Someone probably said it. Will Hunt, the super double G. Thank you for Goblin Engineer. We'll put Goblin Engineer in the sideline as well. What I do want to mainline though is Ragavan, and I think I'm just going to take a brief break here to add Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Mox Amber. I do think Mox Amber might be good here. Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond. Only because the strategy is going to rely on equipment to some extent, so I would like another thing to just help us go equip the thing. It'll also give us another artifact for the... Did I not add it yet? Mox Opal. Didn't add it yet. We want Jeweled Lotus. We want Lotus Petal. I don't think I'll go beyond Mana Vault. Like Grim Monolith's not necessarily good for this list, so I'm not going to include it. Usually that's just like fodder from... Generally, Grim Monolith is something that you play out after an ad naus to cast your Arcane Signet. I don't know if we want 2 CMC rocks. Like, this deck isn't trying to color fix with something like an Arcane Signet, and that kind of ramp is interesting, but I don't know if we want any of the 2-for-1 rocks. Let me know how you feel about adding like an Arcane Signet. Do we need 2 CMC equals 1 mana rocks? Let me know. And at most, I guess we would use Arcane Signet and maybe Felwar Stone. Do we have Cloudstone Curio for Dockside yet? We do not have Cloudstone Curio. Cloudstone Curio is... If this deck checks out... I have a masterpiece version of this card that I've just been sitting on for a long time. And the only reason I haven't sold it is because I really love the art and I actually really like the card. But if you haven't seen it, it's whenever a non-artifact permanent enters the battlefield, so useless in Oswald. But you may return another permanent you control that shares a permanent type with it to its owner's hand. So basically, Kellan, Dockside, Kellan, Dockside, Kellan, Dockside. Right, 6 again. 6 is the magic number here. You're going to be generating 1 treasure every single time. I think that this works. In particular, I like it because we could Sunforge and forge a path towards that, right? If we get Enlightened Tutor. Is there a better artifact to hand Tutor? Am I crazy? I don't really consider these things because Oswald just puts them on the battlefield and that's the one deck I play. So let's just see if there's something else for us. I think Moonsilver Key might have a home here solely because Moonsilver Key can get us the Bomberman combo. It'll get us Lion's Eye Diamond. And again, as we know, that's a win. I don't think Pyre of Heroes makes any sense. Auriok Salvagers, he's not a human, right? He is a human. Kellan is a human fairy. If I had Kellan out and I used Pyre of Heroes, I can get Auriok Salvagers out. Again, these are all mana intensive things, but let me just put Pyre of Heroes in and see if it does amount to a win or any utility. Generally speaking, I feel like it might convert like Esper Sentinel into a Hate Bear in the best of times. Speaking of, we'll put Drannith Magistrate in. I put Esper Sentinel in already. Let me save and continue. It's important to note that we need at least 9 more lands in this deck, so look at this more like 69 than 60. All right. We do have Cloudstone Curio, and I think that makes sense. So are we thinking mid-range? Not sure the card quality is high enough to support mid-range plan. Will we want any cantrips to go turbo? We would want some form of... We're going to add some interaction. We're not going quickly, though. I mean, we're not going quickly by virtue of the fact that the combo exists in the deck and only one of them is accessible, and that one combo costs 7 to do. So we're not going that fast. I do think that this is a mid-range strategy, so we will rely on a handful of sax pieces, and we'll go ahead and consider some of the asymmetrical ones in a second. Manline, sideline. You smelling toast? You good? Sideline. Here. Did I say mainline? Did I say manline or mainline? I hate Cloudstone. I have Cloudstone in my ob deck, and I resent it so much. Why do you resent it? Why do you resent it? Goblin Welder. Goblin Welder. We could. Do you guys like Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer? Let me put Goblin Welder off to the side as well. What's cool about Goblin Welder is the fact, and people forget this all the time, you can swap out other people's artifacts. It's really good for that. Oh, let's put the One Ring in, by the way. I hear people like that card now. Good night from Portugal. Tiago, good night. Thank you for accompanying us this whole time. Like, share, subscribe before you go, Tiago. Don't miss out on the next live stream. We probably run 2 good recruiters. Do we run Goblin Matron? I like that you're just saying that Goblin Matron is not one of the 2 good recruiters. So what you're saying is you want Imperial Recruiter and you want the Recruiter of the Guard. And maybe, just maybe, we run Ranger Captain of Eos. I think I put Ranger Captain of Eos in the sideline. Okay. But Goblin Matron to find Dockside Extortionist? You know, if we did use Goblin Welder, we could Pyre of Heroes him. Really, I think that Pyre of Heroes is going to be predominantly for our core combo cards, but I don't want to bake in utility. Like, oh, hey, we gotta, oh, Tiago, you subscribed. I forgot that thing shows up down there. Can you all see that? You know, wait, okay, okay, it was down there. I forgot my volume was on too. Did you hear that little chime? How fun. Thanks for subscribing. He's probably gone now. Also, there's a silence aura. There's Aura of Silence. Is that what you mean? Aura of Silence? Ooh, Winds of Abaddon. I get excited looking at white cards. I don't know why that is, but it's true. All right, so let's probably stop this search in just a moment. I'm not saying anything else. I don't know how I feel about Goblin Matron. Aura-based stacks plan? How are there like really good aura-based stacks options, because I don't want to search up an aura-based stacks option unless it stunts everyone. Like, I don't want to just hit one person. Like, I won't be contented with that. We need to make everyone suffer at the same time. Then I'll feel good. Search your library for a basic land. That's cute. Okay, so let's just look at this. Let's look at this. Whenever deals damage. Whenever deals damage, aura, equipment, partial pairings. I just want to see if there's any good utilities to use with Kellan's Double Strike before we continue. I feel like Curse of Silence would be decent. I'll give that a look really quick. Curse of Silence. Oh, is this an aura-based curse? Okay. Enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Spells of the chosen name. Enchanted player cast costs 2 more to cast. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell with a chosen name, you may sacrifice cards. If you do, draw a card. I think it's okay. I feel really hard pressed to go for anything that doesn't affect everyone at once. And so far as auras are concerned, I don't know. The sideline exists. Okay, it's the cards that just are, they're bench warmers for now until I decide that they're better. They deserve to be making plays. There's at least one stacks equipment, right? I have the memory, but can't dredge it forth. Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's a stacks equipment, but let me know. And to find Goblin Engineer, that may be Matron for Engineer, Engineer for Curio, Bounce Matron to find Dockside for Loop. Bounce Matron to find Dockside for Loop, right? So we could Kellan might want to find something that offers haste, right? So we do, if we have Dockside, we don't need to find it if it's in our deck still, and Engineer it's in our deck. We would go Matron for Engineer, Engineer for Curio. Hopefully you have some form of haste enabling. We bring back the Curio. We cast Kellan, or we're always going to have that accessible, ideally. Cast Kellan to bounce the Matron, play the Matron, get the Dockside. That's pretty mana intensive, but it's not atrocious. White curses, Curse of Opulence. I don't know, one person might be smart depending on the aura. Look at Thran Power Suit. Oh, I've looked at Thran Power Suit. It's pretty sick. Suo. It's not what we want. So it gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Ward 2. So if you really want to stave off the competition, you can use the Thran Power Suit. I don't know if we need it that bad. What about Conqueror's Flail? Much like Conqueror's Hockey, it'll stop people in their tracks. I will look at that momentarily. I want to look at whenever someone does damage. So we can make treasures with Prying Blade. Probably never going to do that, but you could. We've got Guilty Conscience as a potential combo card. Doesn't this work with one of the dolls? Hold up. What are the creatures that combo with Guilty Conscience? Go. What are the creatures that combo with this? It's like, do any of them kill everyone at once, or do you always have to just kill one person and wait? Flowering of the White Tree could be good. Conqueror's Flail is technically stacks. Like, it makes your creature a Grand Abolisher, essentially, if I'm not mistaken. We can add Conqueror's Flail to the sideline. I don't play, but that's not true. I do partake in tennis. I haven't in a while, but I don't really play sports generally, so the only sideline I get to effectively play with is with my playing cards, okay? Do we need 2 CMC rocks? The answer is no. How about Assault Suit? Build a Slicer? No, I don't want to build Slicer. If I wanted to build Slicer, I'd be playing Slicer, okay? Ooh, Mask of Memory is actually really sick for setting up Underworld Breach lines, by the way. That's just another perk of the Mask. It's 2 to play, it's 1 to equip. It's not the end of the world, but on damage you draw 2 and discard 1. So really cool setup for the deck. Whenever equipped creature deals damage, if you may sacrifice to discard your hand, draw 3 cards. That's cute. Probably not. Not gonna do that. Brash Taunter is good. Brash Taunter. That's the one. That's the one. So, ooh, is Brash Taunter a goblin? Whenever Brash Taunter is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. Okay. You hit like a kobold. So, yeah, he is a goblin. He's a very costly goblin. Are they both that expensive? Is Stuffy Doll that expensive? Stuffy Doll enters the battlefield. Stuffy Doll is dealt damage. It deals that much damage to chosen player. You can tap Stuffy Doll to deal 1 damage to itself. Pretty sad situation. Brash Taunter might be the better one. It deals that much damage to target opponent. And you can instigate the fight by using Brash Taunter. It's also another Goblin Matron card. I know. I wish they'd bloody well make a Universe Slicer someday. Oh, in Universe Slicer? I don't know. They will take their time on that, I'm sure. They've got so much other stuff to get you enthused. Okay, is our goal to be tutoring as soon as possible? Wizard, our goal is to play to the hand we're dealt. So if I see a combo line, I want a way to get there. If I don't see a combo line, this is not a deck in my mind where you can go below 5 cards and be happy. Like, it's not going to be working that effectively. However, I want to see if there are some comeback utilities we can utilize. Like, I mentioned this earlier, Sword of Fire and Ice seems pretty good. I like shocking something and drawing a card. I don't know how many of these swords we actually use or if we use any at all. We mentioned the Reaver Cleaver in a video we have coming up. It's kind of cool, but basically whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. So a 3/3 double striking trampler can make quite a few treasure tokens, and this will help expedite the process of our combos. So something like that wouldn't be so bad. I don't know if there are any other aura-based combos you can think of, because I don't think Brash Taunter Guilty Conscience is bad. Goblin Matron, Brash Taunter, Guilty Conscience. Okay. I can commit to putting him on the sideline. Watsy needs to hurry up and make Goblin Tutor legal. Is it not? What is this, the goofy one with the, yeah. Gen Palm Incinerator cycles. Oh, does it? Yeah, it does. This deck will very difficult to efficiently pilot, I expect, probably. Just jumped in. What are we building? Christian, well, seeing as you're here now, let me just save and continue. We're building what will be essentially the best Kellan, the Fae-Blooded, you've ever seen. And wow, we only added 5 cards since last we started going down this avenue. We need to add more cards. I don't know if the Reaver Cleaver is good enough, but I like the amount of mana it generates. I kind of just want to put Sword of Fire and Ice. There are more aura combos. Just give me a second to think about them. We could do Spellbinder combo. I want some form of equipment in this deck. I don't know what we're using though necessarily. Let me just put Sword of Fire and Ice on the side. We could do Aggravated Assault with Sword of Feast and Famine. That's a thing. The Reaver Cleaver is really cute. It's just so expensive. Like, I would need to cheat that out. Maybe we use Stoneforge Mystic here. But we've got so much space that I do think that we're going to put Stoneforge Mystic. You know what? I'll mainline it. Sword of Fire and Ice. Sword of Fire and Fire. That's an unset card if ever I heard of one. So there's Sword of Fire and Fire, and there's the Reaver Cleaver. Right, I want to cheat these things out. I don't want to have to cast them. Also, we've got Sigarda's Aid. We've got the Forge Anew. Is Forge Anew? It's an aura, right? Or it's an enchantment. All right, whatever. So we got all those. let's add some stacks pieces. So let's go ahead at deafening. Well, that really messes us up. Deafening silence is non-creature, right? Or yeah, it's definitely non-creature. So do we use any of the rule of law effects? I hope not. I don't know. I don't think so. Deflecting swat, red elemental blast, elemental blast, pyro blast. Okay, tell me your favorite interaction in these colors. Tybalt's Trickery. We've already added the what was the silence, which is one of the best ones. We could do Orm's Chant is fun. I like Orm's Chant. I don't know if it's really oh my gosh, is this $100 now? That's crazy. All right, Orm's Chant. Let's see here. Jit. Breath of Fury with hasty tokens makes Elemental Mastery is another infinite. Like Elemental Mastery is another infinite. Yeah, we could so Elemental Mastery we looked at earlier because we can tutor it. I don't even think I put the loyal what's it called? Oh my gosh. I don't think I put her in yet. Loyal Apprentice. Let me put the Loyal Apprentice in. I think I've not added Breath of Fury. We'll look at what we have option-wise in a second and sort of determine what we would prefer to use. But I'll add Elemental Mastery for now. It's a little costly, but I like it. How many goblins are we up to? I don't quite know. If you want to take a look at the list as it stands, please let me know. Let me just say Breath of Fury. So this is going to be up to date and you can check out the list. I'm still adding a handful of cards. Thank you. Reprieve. Reprieve is a good one. Is Jitte is good double strike. I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah, Jit, it's not bad. Let me do this. This. Mizawa's Jit. When deals combat damage to a player, you get to put 2 charge counters on it. What it does basically is makes him super buff, and or you can kill things, and or you can gain life. It's not bad. Generally not used in this format, but it's really not that bad. Has Reprieve come up in cEDH? LP? Yeah, it has. It has. It's good. If you're in, yes, it's good. Draneth is in. Already added SWAT, red, and Pyro. Wait, maybe not because Kellan has double strike. Okay, so we run Stone Skin. We run Stone Skin. Enchanted creature gets +0, +10. As an aura, then lets us damage based on toughness and plus double strike. Is there a thing that lets us do damage based on toughness? I don't know. Helm of Obedience. What about the Rest in Peace Helm of Obedience combo? So Rest in Peace is cool. It's cool. People hate it. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Right? So enters the battlefield, exile all cards in graveyard. So this is a pretty, oh damn, that's cute. This is a pretty good card. And then Helm of Obedience, I think it just takes one person out, sadly. You only take one person out at a time. The target opponent mills cards and then repeats this process until they mill a creature card or X card. So here's the thing, you just say X is 0 and then you mill them out completely because nothing is ever touching their graveyard. Rebuff the Wicked is solid for protecting our stuff. Rebuff the Wicked, I would say a lot of the utilities that you find in Oswald, like Blacksmith's Skill is going to be good. A lot of things we're trying to protect will be artifacts. Loran's Escape? Is Loran's Escape... is that permanence? Target artifact or creature? We're missing our auras when we use something like that. I think Blacksmith's Skill is also the same way. We just got Surge of Salvation, I think is what it's called. Surge of Salvation. This is permanent protection, so Surge of Salvation is going to be good for us. I think Blacksmith's Skill is permanent as well. Let me just look at it really quick. Yeah. We want things that'll hit our artifacts and our auras and our creatures. Build a pony. It's a good suggestion, Devout. I don't know, I'm going to pass on the side. You know what, I'll put Bill on the side. You might have a point. You might have a pony. You do have a pony, actually. Alright. What about the... okay. Let's not go with Build a Pony WinCon. We could, though. We are using our graveyard heavily, though. So, Victoria, technically, we are... if we do the Goblin Engineer stuff, we are. Right? We also have Underworld Breach in this very deck, so that's a thing. I like Apostle's Blessing for these effects. Yeah. I mean, Apostle's Blessing is a creature artifact, though, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Nim Deathmantle could combo with Dockside. We need a way to kill the creature, but yes, whenever a non-token creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 4. If you do, return that card to the battlefield attached to Nim Deathmantle. They get +2/+2, have Intimidate, and they get they're a zombie. I think that Nim Deathmantle... only that, you know, we don't have a clean way to kill the thing. I'm not quite a fan of it. Is that how you spell the Mithril in this game? Mithril? Mithril code? Always thought it was a Y. Enters the battlefield, attach a target legendary creature you control. That creature gains indestructible. That could be a useful combat trick. I'm not sure it's going to be necessary most of the time, though. What's the idea of this deck? Also, what are the equipment? Says Mikolai. Why don't we go ahead? I just want to take a broader look at the list right now. Scourge Prospector and Demon Male Hoberg can let you sack. Scourge, because you're just suggesting goblins? Really trying to get us on this goblin train, I see. So, ooh. Is there a reason? There's no reason to use Treasonous Ogre, right? Probably not. Probably not. I can't think of what can we power out with Treasonous Ogre in this deck? If we had Treasonous Ogre, we need white for the first thing, mind you, right? So we do Treasonous Ogre, we use a white to get Birthright Boon out, and then what do we search up and what do we do with all that sweet, sweet mana? Nothing's immediately coming to mind. The fact of the matter is, infinite mana with Kellan is a good thing. But right now, the list looks like this. So, I think we could probably go about giving us the land base we need. We're probably going to have more red in a few. I'll go with we'll go with 5 plains and 4 mountains, because we do have an even split with this. We do have the Shatter Skull Hammer Pass. So that's the MDFC lands that will count towards... oh, whoops, sorry. We need to do 5 and 6. Is that accurate? What the hell? Whatever. That's whatever. That's fine. Okay. So let me go ahead and just save and continue editing. How many cards is this? We've got 89 cards. We need to add 11 cards. I was thinking Treasonous Ogre might be really good here. This deck is doing so, is going so many dang directions. I think that well, let's look at it. Okay, so Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Mox Amber, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal. You can make a case to get rid of the Mox Amber. I do like it though. If we need to attach things, it'll just be an extra utility. Helps with our Mox Opal, and it's just something we can swap with the Welder or the Engineer if we happen to use them. Mana Vault, Soul Ring, those all make sense. Grinding Station combos with Underworld Breach, provided we're making mana off of any sort of mana positive rock. So Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Mana Crypt. We can use Lion's Eye Diamond to help expedite this process if there's anything we need to cast. But generally speaking, it's going to be those things. You can also use 1 CMC ones, but ultimately you're going to do the Grinding Station Storm into Aetherflux Reservoir. And once you have Aetherflux Reservoir, it's end times for your opponents. Sunforger is just a utility equipment we can find. Moonsilver Key is just going to help us find LED for the Bomberman combo. Mortar Pod is a finisher with Kellan, provided we have infinite mana. And we can make infinite mana with Dockside Extortionist, Cloudstone Curio. We can make infinite mana with Dockside Extortionist and Thimble. You can make infinite mana a lot of different ways with that card. Pyre of Heroes turns Kellan into Auriok Salvagers. Pyre of Heroes also turns Esper Sentinel into Loyal Apprentice, a stacks piece if we need it. We don't have anything that finds Dockside Extortionist. Sadly, Esper Sentinel is not a pirate. Although Ragavan is a pirate. Hold up. Monkey Pirate. Ragavan can turn a Pyre of Heroes into a Dockside Extortionist. Okay, so we've got a lot of overlapping play lines here. I meant to add Ragavan. I'm gonna add Ragavan in a second. Let's see what else we need, but I'm excited for that. Cool. Okay, so plenty of reasons for Pyre of Heroes in my book. I don't know about yours. In mine, I like it. Ranger Captain of Eos could find a home just as another universal silence, but... or asymmetrical silence, I should say. I don't know that it's absolutely necessary, though. Mask of Immolation with Mortar Pod, just run all the cold tech. So Spiteful Banditry, thank you. You know what? I do want to just add a few things right now. We'll add Spiteful Banditry, we'll add Ragavan. These are things I want. Ragavan. Spiteful Banditry. Banditry. Okay. A Mask of Immolation is the same thing as Mortar Pod, essentially. However, it does have red in its requirement, so not quite as good as Mortar Pod. If you look at the two. Right? So +0/+1, sacrifice this creature, deals 1 damage to any target. This is the same thing, but without the effect. So I like Mortar Pod because it's easier to cast. I don't think we need both. I really don't think we need both because we have outs elsewise. Aetherflux Reservoir is essentially an out. We can't search it though. I don't know how many outs we have that are searchable outside of Mortar Pod, so maybe there is a reason for Mask of Immolation. Like if we just need another solution, we could do that. Also, if we did decide to include Ranger Captain of Eos, it can find Walking Ballista, and when we have infinite mana, we can just win with that. That's fine. Mantle of Ancients as a way to rebuild combos. There aren't too many combos I've really like hollered out that are aura or equipment based. We do have Mantle of Ancients, I think, on the sideline. No, we don't. Not yet. Wouldn't you need infinite red to combo anyway? We don't necessarily. I mean, well, if we're making infinite mana with Dockside, we'll have any infinite color. If we're making infinite mana with Auriok Salvagers, we'll have any infinite color. All of our lines that make infinite mana of every color, so I'm not too worried there. I think it's needed because it's based on your commander, so having 2 is hot. David, I would agree. I think having those 2 targets is valid. I agree. Line Sash seems like a useful equipment to tutor. Also, Cloudsteel Kirin is sketchy infinite mana with Treasonous Ogre. Sketchy infinite. Tell me more. Wait, Cloudsteel Kirin, you say, Mikolai? All right. Oh, it's one of those reconfigured creatures. Equipped creature has flying, and your opponents can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. You can't lose the game, your opponents can't win the game. Excuse me. Does this stop you from losing life? It doesn't matter whether you have 0 or less life. You're forced to draw a card while your library is empty. You have 10 or more poison counters. You're at the end of your 9 lives. Your opponent is Triska Defile or so on. You keep playing. Huh. So, Devout says fair. What do you you guys want Cloudsteel Kirin? That's a weird one. That is a weird one. Do we only need red to win though? Could we get away with just red? I don't think so. guess you could. You can't pay life if you don't have it, so it does stop at a certain point. Yeah. Wait, you can't pay life. Yeah. I was thinking that too. All right. Even still, I like the idea of it. So we have 9 more cards to slot in here. We should add stacks. So let's do this. I want to look at opponents can't. I don't know. Give me your favorite asymmetrical stacks pieces. Aura of Silence. We should put that in there. I don't know if it's a favorite, but I do like it. Or Impercutor. We have Impercutor in here. Cloud Shift and Ephemerate could be good just to be able to use Dockside to help you get there. Yes, I think that Ephemerate, excuse me, Ephemerate might be the one I use because, oh my god, is this art amazing. Just want to play this card. I think that Ephemerate's fine. If only as a means of protection minimally, and then also I like Ephemerate. Let me consider it. Let me just sit on that for a second. I don't mind Ephemerate though. Aethersworn Candidates. My issue though is that I don't want any of the law, like the rule of law effects, because they might hamper our combos too much. Like everything we want to do is going to rely on multiple casting, except for Breath of Fury and Splinter Twin. So I guess we play to our outs. We just do that. We play to our outs. So yeah, fine. Deafening Silence, Archon of Emeria. We'll be that guy. We're gonna be that guy, people. We can do Eidolon of Rhetoric might be like too far. I don't know how much redundancy we want. I do like the Aethersworn Candidates though. Still, Aethersworn Candidates will allow us to win with Underworld Breach. We can win through that with Underworld Breach and Grinding Station and all that good. It's artifact based. We should be able to win that way still. People like this card. People like the Revel in Silence Flame Scroll Celebrant card. Whenever an opponent activates an ability that isn't a mana ability, Flame Scroll Celebrant deals 1 damage to that player. Oh, that's cute. I don't know. Like, I don't really like Flame Scroll Celebrant, but I can understand why people might want to use Revel in Silence. I can do that. Getting a little too high up there in the cost category here. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to use this Revel in Silence? And I'm only going to say Revel in Silence. If there's a reason to use Flame Scroll Celebrant, let me know. Wear and Tear is good. Yes, let me know your favorite interaction now. This is a good time. Revel in Silence? Let me know. Grand Abolisher and a Brade. I believe in Wear and Tear. I have a special place in my heart for Wear and Tear. Odd. Then add Fury and Solitude. Ooh, God, if those cards weren't so damn expensive. Solitude. What is Solitude at now? There was an opportunity to buy this version of Solitude. I just never did it because I'm like, I'm never going to use this card. Why would I ever use this card? We could. I don't like... I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we run Rule of Law. Light Pause breaks parity on Rule of Law effects, while Kellan doesn't, so strategy doesn't apply as well here. I don't know. Even Mind Sensor, Boromir, you say. Whenever opponents cast a spell, if no mana is spent to cast it, counter that spell. Sacrifice Boromir, creatures you control gain indestructible to ring Tempsu. I don't know, I kind of like Boromir. I kind of like Boromir. It's kind of a 6 spell. You know what? I'll mainline Boromir here. I like it enough. Is it Warden of the Tower? Yeah, it is Warden of the Tower. Gwen of the Third Path stops Thoracle. Does she? You'll probably play Solitude and Oswald at some point, so might as well include it. Nah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Well, that's actually not true now. We have such a thick-ass hand that we could actually run this. Man, don't I wish I owned a copy. Don't want to spend the price people are asking for this right now. I'm curious to see what TCG player has this, like, the course of its history. I know it's only gone up, but I would want this copy. Sorry, this is just me. This is just me speaking right now. It's just about or we should add the basic cards like Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares. I will add a Brade. Get down with the thickness. Solitude. I'll add Solitude. What the hell? You should like Boromir. He is gas. He's not bad. He's pretty good. Let's see where we're at, though. Let's see where we're at with this deck. That is not what I meant to hit. I want to see how many cards we have in this deck. We have 101 cards in this deck. Okay. Sure. Doesn't feel like it. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous for what this deck is going to be like or how it's going to perform. I'm always down with the thickness. Yeah, Takali Honor Guard, Blind Obedience. Still haven't seen you add Lion Sash, so I'm going to keep suggesting it. Lion Sash is Grave Hate. It's also something that you could technically tutor with our Kellan. Do we want Agatha's Cauldron? Do we want Agatha's Cauldron? Let me put that on the sideboard for now too. But sure, I'll add Lion Sash. Lion Sash. Takali Honor Guard, Hushman Griff, those type of effects, the Torpor Orb effects. I'm iffy on. Blind Obedience does work as a payoff though. So if we have Blind Obedience and we're doing the Cloudstone loop, we could technically extort the board. So it's not a bad idea. I like Blind Obedience main. How about that? How about them apples? I don't know if we run enough. I don't know if we're running enough hate. Like, I don't know if we're running enough removal. Excuse me. I love Agatha's Cauldron. I really do. Agatha's is sweet in Urtet. Not sure about here. Yeah, that's the thing. I want to see about here. I want to see about here. Because minimally, you want to have something that you yourself would want to remove. We'll add Mask of Immolation because it's another payoff that we can tutor up with our commander. Remember that you use a good amount of ETB effects and have an ETB combo. Yeah. Loran of the Third Path has you... Okay, I'll look up Loran really quick. I only use her instant speed spell. Enters the battlefield, destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment. Okay. You and target opponent each draw a card. Oh, that's really cool for the Thoracle combo. I get what you're saying there. Target player draw a card, so in response to a trigger, make them draw from empty library. Right. And that's when they reveal that they've held their Noxious Revival this whole time, and you just give them another counter spell. I like Loranda the Third Path, though. I do think that's actually pretty spicy tech. And sometimes, depending on the game, you would actually want to give someone the card. Like, you might want to give them that minor advantage just to help stop someone else who's had too strong of a start. I just got on. I don't know if you mentioned this, but it feels like Godo with extra steps, but with Boros. Get the Helm of Hosts, have extra combat creature like Godo or Combat Celebrant. You totally could. It is an extra step because Godo already does that. I wouldn't really go for the Godo combo here, personally. Victoria says Lightning Bolt. I don't hate Lightning Bolt. As a matter of fact, I also don't hate... Don't hate those two copy spells either. I've won a lot of games with copy spells. I also don't hate Jessica's Will. I don't know if Jessica's Will is really worth mainlining in this deck. I also don't hate Rite of Flame. I don't hate Simian Spirit Guide. We missed a few. I know. Simian Spirit Guide. I also don't hate Desperate Ritual. Pyretic Ritual. Is that it? That might be it. Don't know if it was mentioned yet. No, Pupstomp, you got there first. You beat him to it. That removal spell that lets them recast what you removed for an extra 2. Soul Partition. I put Soul Partition in already. You don't play Loran in Oswald? I don't. Is that bad? I don't. I don't know. I just find the stacks piece that's not, like, if I'm expecting an Authorical, I just get the Torpor Orb. I'm just like, okay, well, do it now. Do it now. I'll hold mana to keep Torpor Orb up. Can't remember if it's name, especially. No, I got you there. To be honest, Grasp of Fate has become a staple for me. Grasp of Fate's a cool one. Grasp of Fate is this. Ooh, I'm not used to that art. I'm used to this art. But basically, it hits non-land permanent that player controls, but it hits all of your opponents. Darksteel Mutation, yes, Darksteel Mutation, no pacifism. Darksteel Mutation. You want the bug thing? I'm gonna hold off on Darksteel Mutation for now. I wish it was like Kenrith's Transformation and Cantripped. Is there one that gives us a draw for doing that? Because I don't know. I feel like I need a reward. For overcommitting to stop my opponents, I feel like I need a reward. I don't like having to dig for solutions with my combo mander. It doesn't feel right. We've got 12 cards over, people. What did we do? Do we have enough draw in the deck? Blood. We've got the One Ring. Is that enough draw for you? I also have sort of Fire and Ice. Give me a second. Archivist of Ogma. Forge anew. Oh god, that Blind Obedience art will not do. We'll go for the Secret Lair for now. Ooh, what's the Secret Lair art? What is the Secret Lair art? What's in the box? That's sick. Oh, I forgot. This is great. Yeah, I like Blind Obedience. That's cool. Let's start at the artifacts. Okay, so we're keeping the One Ring. We're keeping. Okay, so I don't know if we actually run the Ether Flux combo, but we could. I'm not certain there are enough. We're not on the Goblin Sharpshooter combo. So having something like Sigarda's Aid or Forge Anew to let us like play our things out with Flash. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equipments, but no. Return. Yeah, so far as Sigarda's Aid is concerned, I'm not really sure there are any instant speed shenanigans with our auras that are really useful. We're also broadcasting when we tutor those things with Kellan that we intend to do them if Sigarda's Aid's out. So hopefully our opponents aren't stupid, and well, actually hopefully they are stupid and we just get out from under them with something like that. So Elemental Mastery is cool in that it gives us a ton of hasty bodies that will allow us to combo with Breath of Fury. So if we have one end of the combo, we have the other end of the combo. I think that's good. So if I have a hand that has a Dockside Extortionist or a way to find Dockside Extortionist, I find Dockside Extortionist. If it has Elemental Mastery or Breath of Fury, then I'll find the other of the two combo cards. That makes sense to me. It is 8 mana to do. But the Breath of Fury combo also has a solution in Loyal Apprentice. And that's really cool because we can tutor Loyal Apprentice with either of our recruiters. If I'm not mistaken, I think she's a 2/2, but we'll have a look. Splinter Twin. We can also use Splinter Twin to do the same thing. So you would Splinter Twin out a copy of the thing. It's hasty. Breath of Fury. Splinter Twin gets to untap, right, because of Breath of Fury. These are all self-perpetuating engines. They all fuel themselves. But none of these are done off turn. So I'm not really sure Sigarda's Aid and Forge Anew are really essential. I do like the fact that they let you cheat out equipment, though, onto the thing. Forge Anew, though, I forget how it works. Enters the battlefield, return target equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's kind of cool. We can use that with, I wish it was just Artifact, but we can use that with Goblin Engineer. I don't think Goblin Engineer is in the main deck yet, but it could be. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equipped abilities anytime you could cast an instant. As long as it's your turn. Whatever. Okay. Isn't that good with Sunforger though? Because doesn't Sunforger unattach itself? Okay, so that's kind of cool. I guess you could, you know, manipulate it multiple times. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equipment cost for the equipment you add. Okay, so you can do, you can cheese stuff out. It is 3 CMC for Forge Anew. That does feel horrible, but we'll get to that later. All right, so Bugify. I'm hearing people ask to Bugify with Darksteel Mutation. We could Bugify if we so choose. I don't know though. I'm not there yet. Sword of Hearth and Home. That's the one that ramps and flickers, right? Oh. Sword of Hearth and Home. It deals damage. Exile one of the creatures you control, then search your library for your basic land, put it onto the battlefield. Put it under the, well, no tapped. Okay, that seems good. We don't have Hearth and Home in. We could do this. That one. We would use that one. But we could do this, and then it would allow our ETB creatures to do more, potentially. Okay, so Sword of Hearth and Home. I don't mind that. I'm a big fan of Ubamass. Ubamass Draneth locks out games. That is something you could do. I don't know if Ubamass fits into this deck, though. Mikolai, I don't know if it does either. There's no great way to get to it. Oswald, there was a great way. That deck is completely changed. It's not absolutely necessary. About 40 minutes in and watching you struggle, my man. This is a valiant effort, and if anyone could do it, I don't think it can be done. Oh, you retracted your message. Is it because you know it can be done? Don't worry. We're going to get to playtesting in a second. It's doable. Novanad. It's doable. But it's gonna take a lot of effort and a little help from my friends. That's you guys. You're gonna help me make this successful, damn it. Or I will, or so help me God, I will destroy this deck. Is there a swift reconfiguration combo in Boros? I don't know that there is, but swift reconfiguration's a cool card for us. In fact, that it is an aura. Basically, this makes it so that any sort of activated abilities on creatures have haste. Enchanted creature, enchanted permanent is a vehicle artifact with crew 5 and it loses all other card types. So that's okay. If it had an activated ability, you just go ahead and like rip it out. But none that are coming to mind immediately. Okay, so we've got plenty of ways to do things here. I don't know that I'm in love with Reaver Cleaver. I do like Underworld Breach and Aetherflux Reservoir and Grinding Station. That doesn't take much out of our list. We could consider a sort of Hearth and Home. Agatha's Cauldron is okay here. Let me look at our creatures next. Solitude is strictly there for the evoke. Oryok's Infinite Mana. Village Bellringer is a combo in tandem with our Splinter Twin. Same thing with Midnight Guard. As we discussed earlier, these two are going to go ahead and let us win the game on the spot with Splinter Twin. Loran of the Third Path is actually interesting tech. I don't mind it. We've got Imperial Recruiter, Dual Caster Mage, Heat Shimmer, Twin Flame combo. Twin Flame Heat Shimmer are also good for just like replicating our ETBs, namely Dockside in most all cases, but you get what I'm saying. Like there are other searchers we can run with. I think just based off the sole fact, we don't have any sort of haste enabling in this deck. I don't think we need Stoneforge Mystic. We don't really have any haste enabling, so Goblin Engineer, you're kind of going ass out when you do this. But I do think it's a good, efficient way to get to Cloudstone Curio. Bearing in mind, if we do that combo, then yes, we want Goblin Matron. All right. We'll want Goblin Matron. So I'll put Goblin Matron in there. Boromir is really interesting protection, and I don't mind it. Archon of Emeria, I'm with you on the effects that are a little too damning, like the rule of law effects that are just across the board, not specific. Like I might even take Deafening Silence out, but I know I can win through Archon of Aethersworn Canonist. Like this is possible. So I don't mind that too much. Although it is only one core line that effectively works through that. But we could technically win with our Splinter Twin setup. It's just that when we do that, we're also ass out. Because we go for that, and it's like, okay, I'm going to cast Splinter Twin. That's my one spell per turn. It could be the nail in the coffin for us. Or they could even like wait till combat and just remove the creature before we ever get the swing off. So far as draw utilities are concerned, we have Archives of Ogma, Esper Sentinel, and the One Ring. Ragavan you can kind of consider draw as well. All of these things look good to me. I think all of these things are good. I think I will take out Deafening Silence. I think I will take out Sigarda's Aid. I think I will take out Forge Anew. Aura of Silence is fine. Breath of Fury, Elemental Mastery, Splinter Twin, those are all good. Okay. Underworld Breach is great. Spiteful Banditry is really good removal. It's a really great new tech. You should be using it. Blind Obedience is an outlet. Mortar Pod and Immolation Mask are outlets. We have Infinite Combat outlets too. We have a lot of outlets. I think that the tweak for this deck would be to probably make it more streamlined towards a specific combo or goal in mind. That would be best. I can't rightly say which is the best yet, but I like this route here because it's something that's accessible with our commander. Blacksmith skill is good because it hits permanence. I like this for removal. Loran's Escape is too niche, I think, because the things that we want to protect are going to be auras. At least so far as combo cards that we're utilizing off of our commander. All right, Reverberate is just another, it's a copy effect as well as Fork. I like these, especially if you're in these colors. They essentially operate as counter spells. At worst. And then their ceiling is you copy someone's Peer into the Abyss. And then you use PETA on their Peer into the Abyss. Or you use, you use Deflecting Swat on their Peer into the Abyss and you just double down on that or something. It's possible. It's possible. It happens. Is there Swift reconfiguration? Nope. Is there a reason not to play Sharpshooter if you're already on Splinter Twins? The Schmidt. The only reason I could find is that it's a finicky combo at best because it's slow, but because the other combos that we have in the deck just win on the spot, Sharpshooter does not. And I don't know if we need that kind of redundancy. I'm going to put Sharpshooter on the side though, because I understand that that is something you can do. I just don't find it to be that good because you'll need Goblin Sharpshooter out first, right? It is summoning sick, right? Am I crazy? Right, and it's not like Splinter Twin gives it haste. It'll give the thing it makes haste, right? Right, okay. Yeah, I think it's a little too slow. For me, it's too slow. We want to do live edit. Excuse me. Okay, we need to cut 7 more cards, and then I want to play test this. See if it's any good. I think it will be, like, okay. Okay. Spiteful Banditry, Aura of Silences are all good. Desperate Ritual, these are just ways to ramp out Kellan, provided we want to play him, which I think we might get to. 29 lands, seems good to me. Even if we don't have one of the cards in our hand, like if we had opened the armory, we could find the Splinter Twin to go with the Elemental Mastery or vice versa. That's really not that bad. Heat Shimmer is great. I like it because we're able to double down on some of our ETBers and we have a lot of them. Savine's Reclamation is kind of key with Underworld Breach. Jessica's Will is fine. I don't know how often Kellan's going to be on the battlefield to get both, but by itself, it's still good ramp card quality. You might not be able to play all those cards, but it's there. Reckless Handling feels iffy in my book. I don't know if we need it with all the tutorage we already have going. Winds of Abandon is essential. It is essential. Twin Flame, Gamble, Rite of Flame, Steel Shaper's Gift. Steel Shaper's Gift is okay. I don't know what we're trying to Steel Shaper's Gift out of this deck. I really think Open the Armory is just better because I want the option for the Aura, even though it is one generic more. Okay, we need to cut 5 cards. Solitude I don't think fits in the deck. I am gonna agree. I don't like it either. Argentum Armor, I kind of love it for this deck as a casual card. That's really good. Argentum Armor is the one that's you'll see Argentum Armor in Godo sometimes, but Argentum Armor is one of those creature attacks destroy target permanent. Push comes to shove, Godo will just start wrecking things. It's not bad. You'd be surprised with enough game knowledge how many fringe cEDH decks you can build and test, says David. I agree. Honestly, Reaver Cleaver is busted. I'd cut a land over Reaver Cleaver. Your commander has double strike. I know. It's just so costly, but I understand that. Exactly what I've been saying, Pat. I think there's more combos than the deck wants to have. Yeah, right now, I'm struggling with deciding what I want to keep, but I think that what we're going to do is cut one combo line out, maybe put Reaver Cleaver back in. The deck's curve is relatively low. I'll just go with that suggestion. I don't generally dip it below 29 lands, not usually. I'll put Reaver Cleaver in though. I still like sort of Fire and Ice for this deck. I think it's a good card. We need to cut a play line out, and we've got 4 cards to cut. Is that accurate? Okay, we've got 4 cards to cut. So let's just go over our combo lines. So we have Auriok Salvagers, Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond and Auriok Salvagers is great because it's a 1-2 punch with Kellan. We can just find Mortar Pod or Immolation Mask. That's it. We're done. We're good. Infinite mana. Successful. It also works really well with Underworld Breach, like if we need to recover any of this stuff. Sadly, the least mana effective lines in this deck are the ones that we can actually actively find. So all of the aura-based combos are very mana intensive. But I still want to keep them because I think that they're the best to have because they're the most accessible. I still like Auriok Salvagers and Lion's Eye Diamond because we can find those things. I didn't add Urza Saga in our land-based, but we could, and that's another way to find it. The Lion's Eye Diamond. We can use our commander to Pyre of Heroes out Auriok Salvagers. So there is that play line. But also it has 2 attacks. So we could technically find it with Imperial Recruiter, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's 2 power or less, right? So we can find Auriok Salvagers that way. So there's 2 immediate play lines to get to Auriok Salvagers. Technically, we could add more for Lion's Eye Diamond. That's fine. I like that combo. We have Underworld Breach, Grinding Station, and Aetherflux Reservoir. That is a combo in and of itself. It's a Storm combo that utilizes your grave. You can win the game that way. It works through Aethersworn Canonist. It does not work through Deafening Silence, which we took out, and it does not work through Archon of Emeria, which we took out. So this playline's nice because if we're playing a grindy game, we can potentially get there very easily. The issue is this is not a list that includes blue. We do not have access to intuition. We can't set up this playline easily. So maybe we take it out. And I would still want to play Underworld Breach for value, but it just feels dumb to do that. So I almost feel like we just don't do that. Maybe we just don't do that. Because I do want to play to this deck's strengths, and Kellan is saying aura and equipment. So I feel like we should focus on our other play lines, which is Splinter Twin, Breath of Fury, and Elemental Mastery. So Elemental Mastery and Splinter Twin both functionally operate as a win con with Breath of Fury. It makes us the creatures we attack, yada, yada, yada. We do that thing. Loyal Apprentice, Breath of Fury also works. Yes, we can include Sharpshooter. I think we've already got enough going on that we probably don't need it, and these things win instantaneously while Sharpshooter's slow. So I'm not a fan of that. We also have ways to make an infinite army with just Splinter Twin and Midnight Guard and Village Bellringer. So while it feels like there are a lot of things going on, I think it's just there's a lot of overlap. The 3 main lines are Bomberman, Underworld Breach with Grinding Station, and then the Breath of Fury lines and the Splinter Twin lines. There are essentially four separate combo lines at play here. So which do we want to remove? Let me know, because I like all of them, and the cEDH player in me is like, well, you clearly keep Underworld Breach, right? You just clearly keep Underworld Breach because it's the best. It's the best enchantment in this deck, but it doesn't really do what this deck wants to do. So And it's not like we have much support to get that going. Like, sure, we have Sevinne's Reclamation. I would say if we did a self-mill strategy in this deck, if there was an accessible aura or equipment-based self-mill strategy, and I mean mill the entire deck, where we could play into, hell, the Sevinne's Reclamation into Dockside Extortionist and Underworld Breach. Right? Like, to give us the mana requisite to do the things, and then just have Underworld Breach out, then I would say yes, that Underworld Breach line makes sense. But we're not really playing for it elsewise, and we don't really have anything in our deck that gets us there outside of Enlightened Tutor, and that's also slow. So let me know. I don't know what you guys want to do. Revel in Silence was accepted, but we need to make some cuts. We could say that we put Revel in Silence in the sideboard. That is the dual face card. Okay. Pat has an obsession with the Winds of Abandon. I think that if you play against Tivit, you'll want Winds of Abandon. So if your cEDH meta locally includes Tivit, the ward on that card's hard to get around, and you might as well hit everything while you're dealing with that nonsense, right? So not so bad. Also, generally speaking, if there are 4 to 5 colorless at the table, they're not going to have basics to grab in that instance. So don't feel so bad about making them grab it. And really, you're only making it more advantageous for your pals that are playing mono or dual colored, because they will have a way to ramp with Winds of Abandon. So it's a really good playing field leveler. Why is Winds of Abandon essential? I'm not just obsessed with it. It's a good card. It's good removal, and you should be using it. It's one of the better pieces of removal you can get. But yeah, I think if Ward becomes more prevalent with other legendaries, you're going to want all the overload or non-targeting removal you can get. That's why Cyclonic Rift is so good, except this is Exile. All right. Sword of Once and Future is reputable mill. You're looking for Surveil 2 for the win. Does it mill the entire deck at once, though? Good point. Dualcaster combo does get a lot worse without black-green. There is that also. The secret, the hidden 4th combo with Dualcaster Mage. My meta has a lot more basic lands in it, so it's not good in my meta, but there are particularly greedy metas. Okay, yeah. I'm not a fan of Dualcaster. I get why it's good, but I just don't like it. You know, let me do this. Let's take out Dualcaster Mage. I'm just going to take out the whole combo line because we need to make space. Right? Crazy. I know. Sunforger is only instance. Is that accurate? No, Sunforger hits everything in this deck, but I gotta say, Sunforger does not tickle my fancy at all. Do y'all like Sunforger? Sunforger does nothing for me. It's so expensive to do. It feels very much more casually oriented than anything else. So I'm going to do that. I want to take one more card out, but I want to put Direfleet Daredevil in the deck. This is a card I love. This is a card I actually really like and maybe put in more decks than it should be. But here it's really good. This is really good for not only removing a solution from your opponent's graveyard, but giving you that same solution. So I want to put Direfleet Daredevil in just to get like tutors out of my opponent's graveyard. I'll remove one more card, and that's the last card I include. I'm sorry, someone mentioned Revel in Silence. I'll just put it on the sideboard because it was a potential at. Sort of Once in the Future. I like Brotherhood's End more than Winds of Abandon. Deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Choose one. I'm fine on Brotherhood's End. I like the modality of the spell, and the fact that it doesn't target is probably the most important part of that card. Sunforger has a win. Does Sunforger have a win? I don't think Sunforger has a win necessarily. I think Sunforger is just a good utility, but a very costly one. And I'm not sure I'm into its cost. Also, I took out all of the cheat equipment onto things spells. I think that we can honestly take out one of these two auras. Like, I don't need both of these. And Elemental Mastery is maybe just a touch too much. Okay. It's aight, but it doesn't bop Tivit. It doesn't bop Tivit. if you guys don't know, this is like the new-ish. This is like a lot of people are playing this. A lot of people like this. I do face a handful of these. So, and it's fine because I just turbo out Oswald and just fucking I just go out under it. But if it does hit the battlefield, it's a pain in the butt to deal with. It's slower list, but the Ward 3 makes it impossible for a lot of greedy people to deal with. So this is a 2-card combo with this Dimir extra turn spell. So you just win the game on the spot. It's a nuisance. So you definitely want to be able to get around the Ward 3 on this. I found this on Reddit yesterday when you previewed this. I found this on Reddit when you previewed it. Did I preview Brotherhood's End? I don't recall. All right, so we've got 100 cards in the main deck. I think that means it's time to see if this list is any good, right? Is that what this means? Let's just see if it's any good. Okay, Kellan, our final hope. Well, not this hand. Let me look here. So if you guys can see this, it's a Plains, an Esper Sentinel, a Fork, a Mox Opal. We're not far, genuinely, from getting Mox Opal online. Because we do the Esper Sentinel turn 1, we would have this next turn, we play the Mox Opal, it's at Metalcraft. This is a little slow though. I am curious as to what's on top, but we're not going to play this. Okay, we're not going to play this either. The other hand was better. We can play this. Do I wish that it wasn't just mana? Yes. But what I like about it is that we can search up something with Kellan should we like, right? Sorcery speed, do that. We have Aura of Silence for next turn. Dockside Extortionist. This isn't so bad. Let's just do this. So Lightning Bolt for removal is kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to go get Plateau. We're going to get Plateau. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. We're going to do a Mana Crypt over here. I will play out on an adventure. Kellan. I'm just going to put them on the battlefield for now. But we're going to search our library for an Aura or an Equipment. So, honestly, how much mana does one man need? I kind of want the Sword of Fire and Ice, or I kind of want... We could just get one of our combo cards, right? But it's not like we're able to do anything with them right now with just Dockside. So what does Dockside really do? He just ramps us. So we could just get the sword because it'd be very easy to equip the Sword of Fire and Ice and just start removing threats. Like we could just peg the Tymna or double shot the Crom. Like we could really just bring stuff down. They will be forced to remove Kellan if that happens. Or, you know, at best, the equipment, and then Kellan would stick. Honestly, at best Kellan, I wouldn't mind having to recast Kellan. I think we just get Sword of Fire and Ice here and be contented with that. Kellan, I hate autocorrect. Milan. Time Sieve Tivit, yeah, that's it. Time Sieve's kind of a pain in the butt. Down, not bottom up. Oh yeah, that's okay, Bloodblade. I like to, I just look at the most interesting words and then I read that comment. Wait, that hand is actually really decent. The first one, yeah. I would have kept the one land with draw and turn 1 and Mana Vault, Mox Opal, what the fuck. Yeah, I wanted something that is a little bit more proactive to start. So we're gonna go ahead and get Sword of Fire and Ice. This is actually turning out to be a more effective hand in my opinion because by turn 2, and we're gonna let the generic dissolve obviously. Okay. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Next turn. Okay. So we have solutions. We've got Mountain. I would say that depending on how many artifacts and enchantments are actually on the battlefield, you could either do Dockside or you could do Aura of Silence here and slow people down. These things feel counterintuitive, but a lot of stuff would have happened at this point. I think that we could probably just go, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana remaining. We might as well play out the Aura of Silence, I think. So we'll just do this. I know it's very slow. I want the Dockside to build up, obviously. We can cast that later. Okay, cool. And then we have removal should we need it. Okay, done. A silence effect, you say? I think now we're going to put down the mountain. We'll do the dockside. Generic and red. We'll do dockside extortionist. Let's just say that treasure-wise... Let's say that treasure-wise we generate on turn 3, 8 treasures. It feels kind of high, but it feels kind of right. Let's just give ourselves the benefit of the doubt here. So we'll do 8 treasures. That seems good. Provided there's nothing stopping us, let's go ahead and cast Kellan. Actually, dockside's right there. Kind of just want to put the sword on dockside. We've got 1 generic floating. I'll do 1, 2. I'll cast Kellan. And then I'll cast the sword. There's no need to equip it. None of these things can really do anything unless we just want the protection. So I'll go ahead and equip Kellan with a Sword of Fire and Ice. That seems fine. We've got 2 treasures and a plateau open. We've got 2 forms of removal and a silence should we need it. Let's just say off turn I need to cast the silence to stop someone from winning. That seems fair. And let's just say I need to use a treasure to bolt someone's whatever. It could be an Orcish Bowmaster. Orcish Bowmaster. Kill that. Cool. Okay, next turn. Jessica's Will. Jessica's Will is really good. Okay, so we're going to start with Jessica's Will. We can play at Plains, but I want to get a land off of Jessica's Will. So the person with the most cards in hand has 5 cards in hand. Let's just say that. That's pretty reasonable. We'll do 5 cards in hand, so we get 5 red, and then we'll exile the top 3. 1, 2, 3. Pyre of Heroes. Okay. So I kind of want the Pyre. I'm going to do this and get the... What is the dual lands that shocks you in these Cuddles Battlefield Forge? No, it's something... Sacred Foundry. It is Sacred Foundry. So we'll get Sacred Foundry. I'm not tracking my life, but I will shock myself for that. Let's go ahead and use 2 of the red to play Pyre of Heroes. Now, the Goblin Pirate... Dockside Extortionist can go into Goblin Matron, but that would kill Dockside Extortionist. So if we did that, what are the 3 CMC things we can grab? Oh, Goblin Pirate. So it would need to be either a pirate. And it's checking to see if Boromir is not a pirate. Village Bellringer is human as well. Yeah, so nothing other than Goblin Matron, but Goblin Matron could grab us one of our solutions with the Goblin Artificer, the Goblin Engineer. That's not so crazy, except we don't really want to do that. Unequip Sunforger for Final Fortune, re-equip Forger next turn, unequip it for a E-Tutor, Enlightened Tutor for Breach, and then win off of it. Lots of mana, but technically 0 card gets Breach and win. Good point. You could do that, yeah, that's a thing. We don't have Final Fortune in the deck, but you could do a Breach line with that. You would want to do... Do you win easily with that though? Final Fortune is a pretty sweet card though. 4 treasures. Have we paid the one at all? Have we paid the one at all? Paid which one? Yeah, we went with 8 treasures. We're giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt here. Let's go ahead and just use the boop. Well, actually, we've got 3 floating mana. Oh God, we need to hold on to that. Okay, 8 treasures is honestly low. If you've ever seen a turn 3 at a cEDH table, it's kind of low. I wish my dockside ever produced that much. Mikolai, man. I don't know. Normally it gets between like 5 and 8 treasures. Especially against Oswald. Like you're getting 5 from just me alone. So always pay the one fish. Oh, have we paid the one? That one. No. That situation hasn't occurred, thank God. So we can get Auriok Salvagers really easily. Let's just move to combat. I think that means we burn the 3 red here, which is fine. Or does Justice Will last until end of turn? I forget. Add, no, does not, sadly. Okay, so we'll attack, we'll hit someone, we'll shock 2 things, we'll draw 2 cards. So 1, 2. Okay, that sucked. That really sucked. We don't want any of this. We didn't keep Underworld Breach in the deck, did we? No, we did. Did we keep Grinding Station? Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. So we'll just hard cast this, I think. We don't want to like, oh, well, I was going to hard cast this. No, there's no point in hard casting any of this. I think we just hold this. Yeah, fine. There's nothing I would really want to turn the Halfling Cleric into that I can think of off the top of my head. Nope. Sort of just want to hold this to get the draw off of it and then be contented with that. So yeah, let's go ahead and like cast it into whatever to get the draw. The 1 ring, that's pretty good. We've got 1 treasure floating and then 1 plateau floating. Let's just say that we have to use this for the Swords of Plowshares. It's fine. This is permanently exiled. Cool, next turn. Something tells me that Kellan's not going to be the biggest threat at any table. Did I just have a Mana Crypt floating there too? Forgot about that. All right, well, let's just start with the draw. I also didn't draw twice there. That's fine. So we're so close to completing a play line here. We really are. So the only Cloudstone Curio is really just good with Kellan because I just want to be able to use that sorcery ability more. The play lines I'm not immediately seeing because this is a fresh list, but I do think that there is some sense in like with urgency getting to the Cloudstone Curio, because the Cloudstone Curio with Kellan is going to be really, really essential for just pushing through those aura combos. Like in a lot of these instances, you know, we should have mana requisite to just do the Splinter Twin thing or Breath of Fury thing. My Dockside commonly gets 6+ treasures. Then again, I also have an Oswald and Magda in my meta. Yeah, my whole deck is like 90% artifacts, so my opponents are definitely thriving. But generally speaking, you get a lot of, I generally get a lot of treasures by turn 3, or you would hope to, but sometimes you don't. So we're giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt here. We're gonna reset. I think that was fine. Matter of fact, I might just back out and look at this list. I don't know what might be hampering this from really popping off. I can't say that grabbing the Sword of Fire and Ice was the wrong choice. It's maybe the only artifact equipment I really want on this list outside of the Reaver Cleaver, but I don't think I'm ever gonna go for the Reaver Cleaver first. Sunforger's fine. I do agree though that it is a little costly, but I would almost rather just have Sunforger in here over the Reaver Cleaver and then rely on hopefully just using one of our many tutors to get Dockside Extortionist instead for mana. I would rather that. I would really rather that. But if we did Sunforger, I would want to add the Final Fortune line. It's essential for getting to the Enlightened Tutor. But yeah, it is very expensive to do all of this because it's the Boros specifically to unattach and cast the thing, and then it's 3 to equip. So let's just say that we went into that turn with the Sunforger already equipped, and like you're threatening the board with 12 commander damage. So that's not nothing. That means 2 hits and someone's dead. So you've equipped it. I wouldn't be surprised if they just killed Kellan because they didn't want to have to deal with the copious amounts of damage, right? Because double striker. So you've equipped it. You go into your next turn. It's 2 to unattach to do the Final Fortune trick. Final Fortune's an instant speed. You have 1 more turn to win the game. And then you're saying you would reattach it and then do it again. So that's Boros, Boros, and then 3. So that's 7 mana to set up an Enlightened Tutor in an extra turn. So you have an Enlightened Tutor in an extra turn, and you get Underworld Breach on top of your deck. Next turn, you draw Underworld Breach. Like, if they didn't figure out that you're going to cast Underworld Breach, well, you know, hopefully they didn't save a counter at that same time. So you cast Underworld Breach off the top of your deck. Provided you had mana to reattach Sunforger, definitely do, because that's when you're going to be pressing for the deflecting swat and or any sort of counter interaction with a Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast. But again, we're talking about sinking a shit ton of mana into one card that I find to be very casual. Sorry. It's just too damn expensive to do all of this. So let's just say you get through all of that. You do that. You cast Underworld Breach. So what are we relying on our graveyard right now? So we've got another Enlightened Tutor in our graveyard. That's all we've really cast outside of the Final Fortune off of that. So what else are we relying on from our graveyard? Is it just the Enlightened Tutor and what you Enlightened Tutor for? None of these are directly to hand. So then let's just say Kellan wasn't on the battlefield. Let's say Kellan was in our command zone and it's our sorcery, so we can find an aura or an equipment. What is the best thing you can find in this situation? Really, you need Sunforger to have... I'm not seeing an immediate play line with this, so let me know. Let me know what the direct play line is, because Underworld Breach is not a win. It requires other cards, right? And Enlightened Tutor is not the other card you want. You want like a DT, you want an Entomb, you want or draw on your command zone effectively, and then you're able to just pull the thing that you vamped out, right? So, or gamble, but gamble's not instant speed. I can't think of anything that's two hand here. Am I crazy? I might just be missing something, but I'm not seeing anything immediately with this. So, let me read through this. I don't know how to win with Sunforger combo. I'm not familiar with Boros Breach lines, but surely you can do something to draw one card and then escape E-Tutor for Grinding Station, right? That would be the idea. Yeah. Sunforger just makes sure that you always have a plan. There's never a time where you're just top decking. That's nice. Yeah, I can agree with that. Is Final Fortune just to draw? Yeah, essentially. Oh man, that's mana true. Is Gamble in the deck? It is in the deck. It's not in the list, just spitballing ideas. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little iffy on Sunforger. It is very costly. I wish there was a way, like someone was saying Pure Seal Paladin earlier, but that's just another card that exists in the 99 that we don't have a direct. We have a few ways to get it, but not like easy ways to get it. But this would be a nice way to draw off of your equipment. We don't have very many, but it would be a nice way to draw off your equipment, and also a nice way to just attach things to creatures at a lesser cost, right? So Pure Steel Paladin wouldn't be so bad, but we're not that heavy on the equipment despite the fact that our commander searches it. I think that for this list you could probably tone down the amount of combo cards. I would probably stick with the auras just because they're the most accessible for you. I think Kellan is fine, though. I think that if you just searched up an artifact, that would be better. Even if it was just artifact two hand, it would be better. Because then you're existing in a color that has Underworld Breach, and that would be enough for me. Because then I would just want to get Cloudstone Curio. I would just want to get Cloudstone Curio and like try to set up the Dockside Extortionist line as quickly as possible. This is fine. I can't say this is great. A lot of the major play lines are mana intensive, and I'm not talking about Sunforger anymore. I'm talking about every other play line in this deck is a little mana intensive to get the ball rolling in combo with. It's not impossible, it's just impractical, right? So we're not going quickly. And so far as the mid-range strategy is concerned, I feel like if you're going to go mid-range, you need to lay down stacks early, and the thing you search for needs to be a really decent draw utility to keep you in the game, right? And ideally equipment-based, because if we attach an aura to Kellan and Kellan dies, then that's that for that tutored card, and then we've just wasted a lot of resources to get the ball rolling on a subpar strategy. I would rather just go for the Sword of Fire and Ice or something that's going to effectively draw us a decent amount of cards. So mid-range, that's what the strategy looks like moving forward. And then, you know, you have some sort of sub-strategy where you're getting off a little bit more damage with essentially what the deck would be filled with would be Hate Bears that can also get in and deal damage and additional damage with Kellan's static effects. I think that this list is okay. It could definitely be tweaked. I honestly like this. Lorena the Third Path's kind of cool. I've seen this card for a while. I am still just fine with it. I think it makes sense here. I wouldn't put it in every list, but it makes sense here. Boromir's good. Boromir would be really good with the Hate Bear strategy, just making all your stuff indestructible. Just having that on a creature that also that counters spells like your packs or anything that people forget that this will counter is really good. You can use, I love Pure Steel Paladin suggestion. Sunforger for silence doesn't let them counter the breach. Right, but I mean, again, that's like 5 mana for a silence. So, you know, you will really need the Dockside to hit for 8 treasures to effectively do that. That's my only issue. Pure Steel Paladin is probably good for the deck with Sunforger specifically, although Pure Steel Paladin does require Metalcraft. Right, and we've got an influx of artifacts. We have 20. If we were really desperate for the artifacts, we could put artifact lands in the deck, but I don't think that's quite necessary. I think Kellan is fine. I think Kellan is fine. I think that when you really look at all the auras and all the equipment, and we need to take a closer look because I feel like there's got to be, I would almost rather just focus on a infinite self-mill strategy off of aura or equipment, and there's got to be something. I have to imagine there's that solution and then just go into Underworld Breach from Savine's Reclamation. I would almost rather just do that because it's Underworld Breach. I don't know. It's like that's one of the reasons you play red, right? That and gamble. At any rate, New Brew, we can do one more test hand. We can look at a test hand. I think the list we built is fine, but I wouldn't say it's like amazing. That's a shame. Kellan is neat. I hope to see them be something to all 1v1 formats. I'm sure it'll be good in 1v1. This deck is cool and unusual. Yeah, definitely unusual. This deck is so bizarre because I want to keep recommending things that are good for LP, but this isn't that deck. Yeah, it's just odd. Like, here's one of our finishers, right? Like a finisher you'll never see in any other list, and it's just an infinite mana finisher. I was saying that you should mulligan for a hand that has 1 combo card in it, and this does have 1 combo card in it. We can essentially go ahead and just Bloodstained Mire, Plateau, Gamble, fast mana, and that wouldn't be horrible. We would just do that and lay down Mortar Pod, like a Mana Crypt into Mortar Pod, and then we have ramp for next turn. This isn't a horrible hand is what I'm saying. It's not my favorite hand though. I will keep this just out of pure curiosity. I want to see what we gamble here, but I'll probably move on to the next hand pretty quickly depending on what we gamble away. But I do want to just get the Mana Crypt. You could gamble your... I just want Mana Crypt. Let's make it easy. Oh yeah, so roll a d8. The d8 says 8 of 8. That will re-roll it. 1 needle pathway. Sure. Okay, cool. That was gamble mana, and then we'll put the Mortar Pod down. Sure. Mortar Pod's cool because you can actually ping something for 1. People will forget that. If I'm not mistaken, Orcish Bowmasters is a 1/1, so we've got something to kill off an Orcish Bowmaster should we like. At any rate, next turn. You know, I'm sorry, I should shuffle before I do this. It's not that I didn't hit a lands. Okay, so we're mana screwed, but we do have a way to find a combo for Splinter Twin. We just need 8 mana. So, like I said, we're gonna quickly go through that hand. Ragavan's a good start. Ragavan's like not an actual bad start. Tarnished Citadel's obviously Rainbow Land that bolts us, but it's fine here. I put Sunforger back in. We don't have Final Fortune, so it's not like we get the draw off of that. We have Pyroblast, good interaction. Enlightened Tutor's nice here. I almost just want to just Ragavan and like have a slow start. I mean, but we can mulligan even further, and this is where I would recommend it. You do want to get some fast mana in your starting hands. We have the Bomberman combo in hand, but I think a lot of people would want to just keep this because they see that, but it's not a good hand if you really look at it. I don't think that this is a good start. I'll keep it though. Who knows? Maybe we pull into the mana. Ah, here you go. Okay, so Soul Ring. Just because I don't want this to be countered due to some dumb effect, I will put the Lion's Eye Diamond down. You know, like if someone like early game wheels and removes this from my hand, then how good was the start of like my game? Or Chalice of the Voids for 0 happens commonly. That would also suck. I'll put the Soul Ring down. The odds of that, I don't know, but very lucky for us. But we can win next turn provided nothing else happens. I would really love a little bit more mana to get the ball rolling on this, but I don't think that's going to happen. So what we could do is this. Does Village Bellringer? No, Village Bellringer. We could put Village Bellringer down, but it wouldn't be good. Okay. Like, I was forgetting if it untapped all permanents or just creatures. Okay, let's do that. Does that resolve? That Soul Ring was clutch. Does that resolve? If it does, then we break this. We make white to start. You need to make white to start because the ability is 1 and a white. We discard all of these cards. We make infinite mana. What's nice is that we added Mortar Pod and Mask of Immolation. So we'll do the Bomberman combo. And then we'll do Kellan for Mortar Pod. This is a very weird combo to just exist, but we get Mortar Pod, right? And then we cast Kellan from the adventure. We sacrifice the creature, the germ that's attached to Mortar Pod. We equip this to Mortar Pod. We ping everything for 1, right? After we make infinite white and then infinite red. That was rare. Cephalid Breakfast, here we come. We actually have infinite, so we should go for those. The deck is so bizarre. Yeah, it is bizarre. I'm going to look at one more starting hand with you guys, and then I think we can sort of suss up whether we like this or not. I don't hate this. I think that it needs to be retooled a little bit. I would say like 10% of this deck would change, though. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here and doing this if I didn't think that this list would be interesting, so trust me. I do like the concept of this deck. I just think that the birthing pod effect of like an Oswald is just generally better, particularly because it hits a wider range of things. This is good. There's not a great way to... Oh, you know what I forgot to put in this deck? I forgot to put Ancient Tomb in this deck. Put Ancient Tomb in this deck. It'll be good. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's draw. Let's go Jeweled Lotus. I don't know what we want to Kellan for right now. Is this a good starting hand? I mean, I liked it. Short. We'll do this. Sure. We'll break this. We'll go on an adventure. What do we want? Nothing's really singing out to me right now. Because we have Recruiter of the Guard here. Recruiter of the Guard could technically find one of our combo creatures, right? Doesn't it find the Midnight Guard? No, it's a 2/3. Damn it. Wait, Village Bellringer. 1/4. Wow. Recruiter of the Guard, you suck. You're not what we want at all. I was going to find the Breath of Fury. Oh, wait. No. Loyal Apprentice? Okay, we'll find Breath of Fury. Cool. Shuffle. I wish we had a Ragavan. We don't. Next turn. Okay. So we'll do Mountain. We'll do Mox Diamonds. Tarnished Citadel goes away. We can cast Kellan, but it's not essential. Not yet. Sadly, we will need Kellan on the battlefield for Loyal Apprentice to work, unlike the other cards. But that's okay. Right now, I honestly think if we're not doing anything else, we should probably just play Drannith Magistrate. Yes, I would really like to play the One Ring, but I can't. So we'll do Drannith Magistrate, hopefully stunt anyone that hasn't cast their commander yet. So any of like the higher CMC commanders, like your Tivit, like your Atraxa, all that stuff, they're not going to come out. Okay, next turn. We're going to just put this down as red, but I think it would probably be more advisable as white, but it's fine. We've got white from our Mox Diamond. We'll go ahead and do Recruiter of the Guard. Honestly, we could get the combo creature, but I would rather just Dockside Extortionist here. Yeah, I would rather just Dockside Extortionist here and just put the One Ring down because we need some card advantage. I would rather that than having to cast Kellan, which is 3 CMC, and then the Midnight Guard, and then the Breath of Fury. That's a little... Sorry, not the Midnight Guard, Loyal Apprentice. That's a little too much. Grinding Station's cool, though. Come in handy later. Okay. And, oh yeah, Spectator Seeing. You can maybe hear my fiance in the background. She just got home. I need to make dinner in a second, so we're gonna end right here. Toxic Extortionist. We're gonna do, say, you know what? 8 treasures was too much for you. We'll do 6. Let's say the turn 4, that's pretty damn modest, I think. So we'll do 6. We'll just use, is this okay? Did I get protection from everything? Cool. Less important. I just want to draw. Cool. Marsh Flats. Kellan? Kellan? Sure. Let's do that. Just get him on the battlefield. Okay, next turn. Draw 2. It's not looking good for our hero here. All right. Yeah, this is not going anywhere quickly, sadly, because Kellan doesn't really do much on the battlefield unless we have a thing that works well with him. I did want to power out the 1 ring, but the 1 ring by turn 4 is really slow. To me, that's really slow. I would rather do something to get it much quicker. But at any rate, we tried collectively. We tried. The deck list is in the description, so provided you do want to work on this, please use this as a blueprint minimally. I think that we covered a majority of the combos that can exist in this list, and I think that we can retool this for it to be better, for sure. I don't think it's a bad deck. I think that it's a mid-range stacks list. It goes places very slowly. Okay, that's all I can say. Have you seen the TikToks with that tennis match where that one girl was slow playing against Coco? Well, that's what Kellan is. Kellan's slow playing, and hoping the judge doesn't notice. It'll get there eventually, though. At any rate, I'm Patrick Marlette, your local game guy. I had a lot of fun brewing this list with you guys. Please join me on the next one. Saturday morning might be another brew. I don't think we have time for a podcast, but as I mentioned earlier, we will be doing a FNM that evening, so expect to see something go up on the channel soon. Obviously, expect more short form content and some long form content as well, hopefully soon. Ooh, it's coming undone. It's coming undone. Okay, little pouch for this thing. Well, I'll see you on the next one, guys. I'm opening Modern Horizons 2 collector boxes tonight. If I pull Solitude, I will send it to you, Victoria. That you don't have to. That's very sweet, though. That's crazy. You have 2 collector's boxes. What? Yeah, I've been wanting a Solitude. I feel like an idiot because I remember the prices were reasonable, and then I was like, this is unreasonable. They're gonna come down. They never came down. They never came down. So I just never got around to buying it. So I don't know. I try to keep at least a singular copy of every white staple because I generally just play mono white. And I don't foresee myself playing much outside of Oswald in concerns to mono white. But I am trying to brew another deck that, and I was hoping that Kellan could be that deck. I really turning the wheels today to make this work, but nah, it won't. It won't. It's just better. It's just generically better. Unless the thing is tutoring like a wide variety of things, it's just generically better to have draw on the CZ. And a lot of color options. Just good stuff, you know? But I'm trying to avoid that, personally, because I don't find those decks fun to play. And I'm not concerned with winning competitions necessarily. That's not why I'm into this game. So if you're still here and listening to me, feel free to leave any sort of suggestions you have for legendaries you think would be fun to have in paper that are cEDH adjacent or could be piloted into a cEDH table. I'd love to take any suggestions. Will and I have talked through a few different legendaries I could potentially pick up, but I want to get something else to play for you guys because I feel like just having Oswald, well, very fun to watch. I find it fun to play. I definitely feel like I should have at least another list or 2 that you guys could check out. So, and I want to make it, I want to incorporate blue as well. Just because, I don't know, I play blue in every other format and I do enjoy the color. It's just, yeah, I'll use Thassa's Oracle. Okay. I'll do it. I'll play like everyone else. It's just easy to have in the list. It's just boring. Again, it's boring. We'll do it. If I must. But yeah, if there's something else that's non-blue, that's cool too. It just, all of the things I've been thinking about, all the legendaries I've been looking at are blue. Anyway, I'll buy an Urza Saga if you pull one. Yeah. Yeah, make those deals. You can connect on the Discord. It's still there. You can connect on the Discord. I think full stacks or full turbo is better. Yeah, one or the other. Also, is there a local game group Discord? Wizard, yes, there is. It's not easily accessible anymore. I mean to make a new Discord, so you can wait for that. I'll make an announcement and I'll put it in a... There's a link tree on the site now, but it doesn't link to a Discord. I don't know how you would get to the Discord anymore. Some of the older videos might link to the Discord. It's a secret, but I do intend to switch Discords, so we're going to make a new Discord. Did you take a look at Caleb and Krug? I did. She's pretty cool. Gandalf, mono white Gandalf. Queen Caleb and Krug is sick as... I agree. I like her. I'll need to take another look at Kayla though to see if I can do something with it. Light Pause is super fun. Engaging commander gives you some really sweet lines. Is the only mono white commander. Sorry, Gandalf lovers. We'll see. I mean, it doesn't have to be mono white, but it can be. Anyway, guys. So yeah. Is it? I'm gonna wait for the TV to... I'm gonna wait for this to catch up. Hold on.